day. I guess we're doing an uprising video because as I sat over here to prepare for what I was doing for the day, I was like, oh, I guess I'll start with a video first. I was going to start with the mentorship thing, but it is better that I get out the message I have like collectively or for a larger group than to do the individual ones. Because then once I get tapped into an individual, I'm like focused on that all day or just stuff keeps coming through and I don't want to slap myself and mess that up. But what I did not expect was to get the feeling that it was an uprising video. I wasn't sure where I was going. Hey, Kitty, with the uprising for this week, but practice makes perfect came into my head. So I need to make it clear if you have been rocking with me for these last 11, this is the 11th week, right? Don't have enough fingers for that. Throw up another one. You should be on a new wave now. If you go back to your original intake, and I hope you've been writing stuff down the whole time because that's the only thing that's going to keep you locked in unless you do video diaries or a time capsule. When you go back and look at the intake, you should see a good number of things that have either already changed or that are in progress with changing. For example, with me, the main thing that I needed to change for my manifestations to ground into reality, which got discovered over this 11-week period, right, was that I was focusing on too many different things at a time, not able to pour sufficiently enough in one cup for it to make the impact that I wanted to in my life. It's like I was like these water bottles. I am a gallon. But I was pouring my gallon into a bunch of different ones, like 20, right? So that none of them were actually getting full like I needed them to. And I was just depleting my thing. Most of this journey has been editing out what no longer serves because some patterns just continue. If you don't check them, you just keep going like, why is my life going like this? But you never nipped that thing in the bud because you weren't aware that it was something you need to nip in the bud. So I have been locking myself into a routine, something I never do. Look how organized this is, guys. I know every time I show y'all a pad, it's usually like, like this, like jumbled, there's multiple days. Like, look at the handwriting, right? Let me show y'all the difference in now. Legible. Even my handwriting is changing as I am starting to lock into purpose. Right? That's the main thing here. If I have not said it before, because every video starts off with me as a blank slate. If you do not have one big focal point or one big focus, then you don't know what you are building towards. You're probably dropping a whole bunch in buckets that don't matter. And sometimes those buckets are people and you're just trying to help, but there is a balance that should be maintained between self and others so that your gallon or your 2 liter or your 20 ounce, whatever you got going on, does not get depleted. So I have a schedule every day now. I'm working on now making sure that I write it down before bed when it's still fresh in my mind instead of trying to wake up in the morning and say, hey, what did I say I was doing today? So continuously tweaking goes along with this practice makes perfect thing. At this point, you have set up a schedule. You know what you're doing. You are starting to implement these things. You have already started to recognize the blockages and you are, is tapering the word I'm looking for? You are cultivating, you are building, tweaking your masterpiece. And the masterpiece is your life. It's you physically, if that's what you're working on, if it's your career, if that's what you're working on, or you could be like me, you could be doing the most, like a whole life overhaul, right? So along with the schedule, I have my whole morning routine. I did not have a routine before. I was like, you know what? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to wake up and just go with the flow of my day. Baby, flow has kicked my ass. I am still going through my queue of videos that I have to do, which is why it's also probably important that I bring up the difference between masculine and feminine energy in regards to you achieving inner union or balance within yourself. So feminine, faith, flow, right? This is the part of you that is tapped into source all the time. You know what to do intuitively. You don't even have to actually know the answer. You are just rolling with the homies, right? The masculine energy is the part of you that gets shit done. Bottom line, that's the best way I can say it. It's the action, it's the ambition, it's the motivation. It's like all of those parts that make your flow have a container that will move you along together. There are some people who are completely in their masculine, all action, and they don't have any feeling and they don't have any balance. This is sometimes why those people would draw people who are like more emotional and stuff to make up for the fact that they are like so driven and not ever touching in with their emotions. And then there are those who are extremely emotional who draw in those who are action based in order to help them make something of the fact that they are putty, if you will. When you have achieved or you are working on inner union, you are your own army, and the people that you draw towards you are more likely to be their own armies or to be independent, so that your relationship, whether this romantic, platonic, whatever, right? Your relationship is one of like-mindedness, as opposed to, oh, that's my friend and I need them for A, B, C, and D. That's my emotional support buddy. Like, no, everybody should be able to emotionally support themselves. There's a difference between being able to ask for advice or get ideas here, but you should also have an inner strength, resilience, and connection that guides you. And everything outside of that should just be a reinforcement or a synchronicity or a sign that matches what you feel and what you're already working on inside. So along with my writing out my routine, knowing exactly how many readings I'm doing, when I'm napping, I need a nap, y'all. What I'm doing in the afternoon, what I have to do for my household, right? I needed the base in the morning to make sure that my energy is set, locked in, before anything that comes my way, especially knowing that I tap into energy all day. So I had that set up, but I have meditations, affirmations, all things that I went a couple days without. The last couple, I'll say like the last 3 days, 4 days, because the kids were off school. Some of them were sick. It was just like a lot going on. And I can immediately tell the difference in how my vibrations hit. But only during your lower vibration moments are you able to recognize when something's wrong. God gave me a word, right? So when I was down, it's like, okay, everything is going like I want it to, as best it can, and at a steady speed. I see things are changing. I see I am changing. That's the most important thing to judge stuff by, right? I can feel it. But in my core, I just kept feeling like, what is this heaviness that is consistently here? And so I ended up like receiving the message like, you did everything that you could for yourself. You focused on yourself like I asked you, you did A, B, C, and D. But it's like you ignored some stuff in the background to focus on yourself, and that stuff that you're ignoring can't be ignored anymore. It's time to clear away some more stuff. So I sat this morning after my affirmations and all that stuff with the frequency. And let me just show y'all real quick. I don't want to make myself go all laggy and whatnot, but y'all need to see this because it's super handy. Oof. I'm an up since 5, so y'all, I'm so proud of me. I don't even do that. I'm becoming a morning person. You would have never been able to tell me that as somebody who used to be a night owl. I was only a night owl because I did not know anything about the fact that I astral traveled or that there were astral beings or anything like that. Now that I do, there's a whole cleansing I do before bed, which makes it easier for me to sleep. Like I don't get attacks like I was or woken up out of my sleep or jarred or anything, which is a blessing. So this is moldavite. Moldavite, typically when you have the actual crystal and the frequency, because it's just like waves, like the channel says, the crystal wave, is for big life changes. When you want something to change, you sit with this moldavite every day. Keep in mind what you want to change. Like focus on what you see becoming from the ingredients you already have. So if you try to, like, example, you live in an apartment or you live in a trailer park and you're like, I am a millionaire. That's what you envision. You throwing money at the casino, you riding a Porsche and all that stuff. Baby, how long is it going to take a little crystal to pull you into that reality? You got to take baby steps. You need an idea that will make you a millionaire, right? You need one thing, one really good thing. So that's what you would focus on with the Moldavite. Coming up with an idea that created a funnel energetically for you to rise to the vibration of that millionaire or have that lifestyle that you had in your head. But you got to take it one step at a time, and you have to consistently build on that energy. You can't stop. You are building momentum with your kinetic energy. Like when you go like this, even after a while, it starts to do a thing. Even when you do it, like when you rub like this, it starts to get hot after a while. But if you stop, that energy dissipates. It goes back down. You have to continuously build. Like as I am writing, today's a full moon in Cancer. That's about home. That's about your emotional foundation, about your family, about your mainframe, really. Because your emotions can throw off anything. If you feel bad long enough, you will say F my life and throw it all out the window. You have to care about your emotional foundation. So the workings that you do have to be continuous, and you have to hold yourself accountable as you're doing them. So what happened this morning was I went to one of those crystal frequency things, and I said I was going to start creating my content based off of that. I'll go find a meme or something afterwards. Usually I was doing it where I would find like a meme that I was drawn to, and then I'd base my content on that. I want all new everything. Eventually I want all original content. I want my stuff, right? Even my memes. Maybe they won't be memes. Maybe there'll be something else. I am open to how the universe allows me to express my creativity. It might be music. Who knows, right? So I sat with a double root healing one earlier. And it was the unicorn stone and the dragon jasper. So the first thing I told myself was, you don't need to know what those crystals mean at this time. This is a test of your intuitive abilities, baby, right? This is you getting stronger in your frequency channeling. This means that when you walk out your house, if somebody walks by you, you can pick up on their vibe. Like, oh, I think eventually it's going to turn into something more telepathic when I can decipher the thoughts, because thoughts are just waves translated. But one step at a time with this frequency, right? Unicorn stone and dragon jasper. Let me tell y'all what I got. And this took, excuse me, a solid 10 minutes of me just sitting in. At first, it was really uncomfortable because I kept thinking thoughts and I kept trying to shut them off like it was a meditation, right? And I'm like, hold on, this is not a meditation. Aisha, those are the thoughts that are coming through that you need to be writing down. And so I started writing them down. And this is what I'm going to do every morning with a different frequency. And then eventually I'll have a journal full of like ideas and thoughts and just stuff that could possibly be a book. I don't know. But they're valuable tidbits. So from this unicorn stone and dragon jasper, and I'm going to tell you what the meanings of them were afterwards. I got message number 1. There are some things you can't heal alone, primarily base wounds caused by other people. Someone has to come along and disprove the implanted belief. Next, the most freedom you'll ever have is at birth. No expectations, no plans. You just going with your flow. Next, orgasmic release is not for pleasure alone. It's for letting go of pent-up root energy, which is then replaced with a batch of new source energy from your heart simultaneously. Next, heart-based orgasms clear the canal between your root chakra and your heart chakra. That's like your solar plexus and your sacral. The truth of this is expressed through your throat chakra, and I guess that's during the acts. Sacred sex and intimacy are a part of the healing process. Your understanding of your divinity goes hand in hand with your sexuality. So those are what I got from that. And I was like, okay, I guess because it is like root chakra healing, it has something to do with sex. Your root is your base, your foundation. It is your Aries energy. It is your first house energy. It's your fight or flight, your survival instincts, just who you are at your core before anything else is loaded into your database. So during your childhood developmental phases, all the stuff that you're learning goes into that. All your wounds go into that. If you have to move a lot, I tell y'all about that all the time, it goes into there. So I went to look up what these stones meant afterwards, right? The unicorn stone, is emotional healing, inner peace, fertility, protection, and spiritual connection, right? The dragon jasper is self-reflection, self-healing. It opens the heart, activates earth kundalini, and attracts money and love, along with releasing repressed emotions. Was that not, or those two descriptions not in alignment outside of this spiritual protection and connection, although it could have been connection. I'll ponder upon it. The messages I got lined up, and once again, look at that handwriting. It's crazy. My freaking handwriting changed as I started healing my neurological pathways. I did not used to care how I wrote. I would write as fast as I was channeling, the same way that I was talking really fast when we started doing these videos. And I'm sorry, I'm starting to think that my nose thing comes from channeling all the time. And in another world, it would be like nosebleeds all the time, just because of the stuff I'm doing to my brain pathways, which is freaking weird, but just like rock with it. So I'm going to keep that up. I am passing that tip on to you guys. If you feel lost, confused, add that into your morning routine. You are naturally going to be guided to what needs to be worked on or what you need to understand within yourself. I was getting a little irritated because I was looking at my chart, realizing that my design, and a lot of it was based upon me having a partner. And if you have seventh house planets, you have this problem too. I said problem. See, I'm trying to think about it differently. Maybe in another situation, I'll feel some type of way. I'm like, why do I need anybody else to do anything? But that answered it. There are some areas within yourself, I guess, that can only be seen by other people, that are meant to be nurtured. You're supposed to want to let other people in. And that's an intimacy wound. We are all discovering who we are day by day, one step at a time, especially after you have picked that main goal that you are focusing on. Anything that is keeping you away from that is going to continue to come up. You are walking a path. And just as long as you keep that tunnel vision, you're good. And when you get thrown off, that's when you get whipped back into your cycles. So I'm going to pull for a message for this 11th video, because I'm definitely going to name it Practice Makes Perfect. You should definitely be seeing changes within yourself. I'm going to say in your environment too, but it's good for you to gauge or recognize, because you've been writing, you've been diarying, right? What you are noticing different. Like the more you engage with the algorithm of the universe, the same way as when you engage with your phone, the more you click on what you're interested in, the more the algorithm will feed it to you. So the more you notice your synchronicities, the more that you play around with it and go like, hey, so now I know about this root thing. What do I need to know next? Because, you know, I always do things with threes. You'll get a response. You also get an understanding of how fast your magic works. Now, I now know, after years and years of playing around with stuff, that it typically takes like a week for me to get results. I was talking to somebody yesterday. She said she noticed that her stuff takes about 6 months to kick in. But the more that she engages actively, the faster it will go. We're messing with quantum physics fields of time. So the limitation is only within you and the blockages in your magnet. So what message do I need to deliver today for week 11 of this Uprising series? Keep up the good work popped in my head. If you made it this far and you've been doing your thing, because this was technically 90 days, guys, 90 days to change your mindset, to change the way your pathways work so that you can move forward in what you want to do. So, oh my goodness, don't you hate when you wake up early and you wash your face and you do your stuff? I even like showered, I did my like, ooh, sign, my baby, ooh, and all that, right? And then you get this. I just noticed it. I will notice everything. Like, why am I crusting up? I didn't go back to sleep. But I rolled my eyes because my channel's clogged. This is my first time pulling today. And it's so funny. I can bypass with the frequency stuff. But when I go to do cards, who's waiting at the door? And if I think about the root chakra thing, I could probably also consider that that ties into this. Maybe there's somebody I'm blocking out or something. I don't know. They'll line up together. I asked, what is the message I need to deliver to the collective? And that nigga gonna pop in there. I'll pull again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for the profanity here. Okay, let's try this again. I don't have a lighter over here, or I would definitely smudge these. Ooh, here it goes. Oh, and the lighter's super cute, look. How appropriate. Cowboy alien. All right, this is my money sage. I don't even think I have the other one anymore. I have a red one. That's dragon's blood, and that's protection, but I don't have a traditional white one. I used to have it all the time. But now it's like I got my angels sitting around. Can I smudge away angels? Like I told y'all, these cards are everywhere around my house. That's Ariel. That's the angel of revelations and perception. So while I'm sitting here at this table with y'all, I get all sorts of insight and stuff because it's the revealing part of God. So and don't forget, from the moment I tapped in, everything about this message has been curated for this particular group. So maybe you need this much, maybe you need to clear some other stuff out. Never stop editing until the project is done. Even after we're done this 12 weeks together, all I did during this time was to teach you a 90-day formula for how to change your life incrementally. You're not done yet. You just raised yourself to the vibration where the things that you wanted were possible. Now, the next 90 days after this, you got to keep that up and then switch it up as you move forward, as you make more progress, till you see the you and the life you want to see. They're going to love you for your ambition. Okay, so there. Smudged. Maybe I need to smudge me. Come in person or don't come at all, man with a heart. You cannot hijack somebody telepathically or astrally. Put your wolfy claim on me. Well, I am trying to take over the world as an individual. If you would like to help me take over the world in person, let's do it. So I'll be wilding y'all. All right, so what is the message I need to deliver to this week 11 collective? Okay, so that message that I gave you guys from the Dragon Jasper and Unicorn Stone is like particularly for this group. So first and foremost, you need to make sure your desire, what you were trying to manifest, kind of like I said in the beginning, like if you're trying to manifest being a millionaire, you can't say, who millionaire next thing. No, you need to say, I need an idea that will lead me to the money, right? Make sure your heart is in whatever you are trying to do for yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to keep it up anyway. If you say you want to be a millionaire just for the money and there's no thing that you're trying to be a millionaire doing, that's not going to pan out. But if you say, hey, I want to be a millionaire because I want to be a philanthropist, but I want to do it by creating a book that touches people also. Boom, then the universe has something to work with. And then even if you don't become a millionaire, even if you don't hold $1 million at one time, $1 million might flow through your hands because you were wanting to give it out to other people. But you will still be fulfilled because what you wanted was heart-based, and it was to be a philanthropist. Right? You have to do something from the heart in order for you to ever feel fulfilled. Otherwise, that root feeling, that bottom is always going to feel empty. I also was getting that somebody here does need to have like a deep orgasm. I can't even. A deep release. Okay. To clear out their canals. Like there are some deceitful patterns still in your root that are blocking you from reaching your goal. You might not even feel like you made it where you thought you were going to make it in 11 weeks, but there's just still some stuff that is blocking you from action in your base. You might benefit from the dragon jasper or the unicorn stone. That's emotional healing and self-reflection and opens your heart. But that heart thing could be the piece that's missing from your manifestations previously. So it looks like after you clear out that wounds, I'm going to recommend anybody watching this do some heart healing and some root chakra healing, like in tandem. It's going to clear up your vision going forward, clear up your connection to your intuition. like overpower. Overpower the deceit that is trying to like block it. Right now, it's like this a little bit. Like as you're trying to do things, you're like, okay, I can do that. And then you're like, no, 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 no. Who am I to think I can do that? That's because of the lies. This is the lies from people who couldn't achieve the things that you set out to dream in the first place. They couldn't even imagine what you were thinking for yourself, and they tried to tell you it's not possible. That's because it wasn't on their playlist. It wasn't on their schedule. It wasn't on their itinerary for them to do that. Imagine you're going on vacation together, right? Nobody knows what anybody's budget is. Y'all all paid the same entry fee ticket. Let's think of that. That's Earth, right? When you get on this trip, you have your homies with you. They're not paying for any excursions. They're like, no, no, we cool. We paid for this drink package. We paid for this, this room and all this, right? You start going on excursions. You saying pyramids, you snorkeling, you're doing all this stuff. And they're like, hold on. I don't think that's a good idea. It looks like it's going to rain. I done heard bad stuff about the pyramids. And they're trying to talk you out of it because they can't afford to go anyway. They don't want you to go without them. But it's all lies. It's all deception. You paid in advance. That's what this intuition is. It's telling you what you paid advance for on this trip that your homie couldn't afford because of some stuff they did in another life. Y'all aren't on the same wavelength anymore. And the more and more you cultivate your character and separate yourself as an individual, like respecting that we are all connected, you came to Earth to find out what your piece could do within this ego, within this character. Don't exclude yourself from your excursions, from your free play, from your special visitations, just because other people aren't connecting with where you're going forward. So take the action that is needed. Walk away from those patterns that are blocking you. And it doesn't matter how many times you fall, how many times you relapse, how many times you're back, right? You are working towards the abundance that is rightfully yours. And all you have to do to meet up with it is to keep walking. Keep walking with your heart in the right place. Keep walking with your mission in mind. I've even had to come up with like a mantra, like, does this serve what I am doing? If it does not serve what I am doing going forward, then I don't need to do it. So for this 11th week, when things could be sort of, in transit, because we're working, I am going to recommend a 3-day fast, and I'm going to be doing it myself starting tomorrow. This is water only. You can do juice, like fresh juice. Don't try to get like no Tropicana or no like Minute Maid. That's not real juice, y'all. So water or juice only, and then fresh fruits and vegetables. Like just straight up, handfuls of grapes. Be some celery and peanut butter. I like cucumbers after they have been marinated in vinegar for a couple days. I guess that's kind of a pickle, but it's not. It's not. But those are the sort of things that you need to do for 3 days. Remember, 3 starts a cycle. You are cleansing your field of the old stagnant energy by like giving a boost of life. Add this to your routine. So you're waking up in the morning, praying, meditating, showering, whatever it is that you're doing. But you need to have a day and a night routine that back up your intention. You have to be balls deep in your intention for the whole time that you are making a life-changing transition. Whatever you do, don't quit, don't stop. Just work around it, work with it, work through it. Week 11.